Hello, everybody. Welcome to Audrey Live. Here we are again. So excited to have everybody with us today. We have a great lineup today on the show. We have Nathalie Kalbach. Kalbach, I believe it's Kalbach. Sorry, Nathalie, if I said that wrong. And she will be joining us today and talking about all things that she's up to at this time, and also doing a demonstration for us. So look for that coming up on today's show. We also have a video of Linda Smith and what she's up to. So we have some great things going on today on the show. So stay with us and stay tuned. Again, I'm Audrey. This is Audrey Live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to comment and ask questions. And make sure that you tell us where you're from. We want to know where you're from and where people are from and what you guys are crafting and what you're up to nowadays as well. It is a sunny fall day here today. I'm near London, Ontario, and we're enjoying some fall weather today. So great to get out there and for a walk and enjoy the colors as well. So if you're not able to watch the show or you want to watch some of our past shows, just go to our YouTube channel, which is Pin It Canada. And just at the top at YouTube, put in Pin It Canada, and you will see all the past Audrey Live shows, plus our Pin It Canada live virtual event, which we just had on Friday and Saturday of last week. They will be launched. They are there and they will be launched sometime today. So you can go there, take a look at what we did. If you're missing the show, you can go back and watch both days. If you watch the show, but you just want to go back and watch one of the segments, there was just so much information there. We just had a fabulous day. And I know myself, even there's quite a few of the different segments that I want to go back and see because I want to make some presents for Christmas or just learn new creative outlets. There's so much out there for us to enjoy and for us to learn. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for everybody that did watch. We, at this point in time, have reached over 15,000 people with our show on Friday and Saturday. Actually, Friday and Saturday was probably close to 20,000 with the 2 days. So thank you, everybody who touched base, whether you watched a couple of minutes or sat with us and watched all day or even both days. We just love to bring you some new talent, some new ideas. I want to thank you again to all of our sponsoring companies and all our presenters. Just quickly, I'm going to go through the list for you here. We had Kaylee from Ecstasy Craft. We have Kathy Hansen from General Pencil. We had Tracy Moreau and DecoArt. Jose Cluche representing Pinso, Kim Evans from Emerald Creek, and Caitlin. That's right, Caitlin was on with us on Saturday. Natasha Wachier from Demco and Natasha Creative. Diana Steer from Dee's Epoxy. Jill Fitzhenry and her granddaughter Kaylee from FM Brush. Thank you, that was so cute. We loved having the little ones with us. Ben Bouchard from Cadre Expert, Linda O'Connell, Nancy Kleiber from Stamp Art, Deb Antonick, Stempendous, Diane and Jessica from Renia, and Anna Marie from Anna Marie Oak Design, and of course, Joe Bertella from Create and Craft. It was just a fabulous show, and we've received nothing but amazing feedback from the presenters. Thank you for supporting them, for the sales. Make sure you go back and purchase from them. Ask them questions. That's what they're there for. They want to help you and they want you to grow with your creative talents. It was so successful. We've already booked our next Pin It Canada virtual live event. Save the date, Friday, February 5th. Put that on your calendars. That will be our next live virtual event. We already have many companies that have put themselves down as being presenters. So if you are out there and you have a product that you want to share, a new product, or you just want to, you're a designer, please contact me if you'd like to be part of that show. We'd love to have you with us. Also, let's see what else we have here going on the save the date. We're working on a new project, as if I'm not busy enough as it is, right? But we are working on a new project and I am really, really excited. And we will be announcing that on November the 19th on Audrey Live. So make sure you put that on your calendar. We're also working on a special 2-hour Audrey Live Christmas, and that will be sometime in December. We're just working out some of the details. So stay tuned for that as well. So yeah, lots going on. Just exciting time within the creative industry. And I'm just so glad that we could be here with you, sharing, what we're looking for in the industry and perhaps what you would like to see as well. If there are certain things that I haven't done or I guess that you'd like to see, send me a line, send me a note, and we will try to get them on the show for you. So today, let's get right to it. We've got a lot going on. Our live guest today is Nathalie Kalbach. She is a self-taught mixed media artist, born in Germany and now living in Jersey City, New York. Nathalie's projects have been published in several art, craft, and hobby magazines, as well as mixed media books. Nathalie has taught workshops all over the world and actually wrote Artful Adventures in Mixed Media, art and techniques inspired by observation and experience. Nathalie's artwork is licensed through Stencil Girl products, Rubber Moon, which is rubber stamps, and art foamies. Her work has been featured on the package of Liquitex acrylic painting set sold at Michael's Art and Crafts stores. Nathalie is also the founder and sole organizer of the annual Creative Jumpstart Summit, launched in 2012, an online platform for artists to share what inspires them to be creative. Hello, Nathalie.
Hello.
I don't see you. I hear you, but I don't see you. Welcome.
Wait. It's the nightmare that happens when you go live. Here we go.
There we are. That wasn't so bad. That wasn't painful at all.
Thanks for having me, Audrey. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. And you?
Good.
Is it a sunny day there today as well?
No, it's actually really bad. It's raining all day. It's very dreary. So I just put the curtain down. There's nothing to see really.
Nothing to see out there.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, for some of the viewers who don't know about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the creative industry?
Yeah, I'm actually, I was a paralegal, believe it or not. I loved art and creating when I was in school in Germany, but I had an art teacher at some point who kind of told me I had no talent. And so I was like, what's the next best thing to do? Let's study law, yes? So I was a paralegal for 17 years, and then I married my husband in 2003. He's an American, he's from New Jersey. And we had a lot of wedding pictures, and I was thinking, what should I do with those wedding pictures? Something creative. And he was like, there's this thing, I can't tell you much about it, but it's in the States and it's scrapbooking. Just Google it. And maybe it wasn't Google back then, but something. So I searched for it and I was like, this is cool. I love paper. I love doing something with my hands. I love photos. And so I started out with that, and then I very early on, I kind of like went into more mixed media, do a lot with paints, and then I started painting, and then I started teaching in Germany, and then all over Europe. And then at some point I was like, it's more than Europe, maybe I should quit my job. And so I did, and yeah, I'm loving it. I teach online. I teach, well, so far, not this year, of course. I taught in person all over the world. I was very fortunate to do that, and I do some product designs. And yeah, it's a weird way.
It's amazing how so many people, that's their journey. They did work somewhere, but it just wasn't enough for them. And yeah, they found their creative being, and before you know it, they quit their job, and this is their full-time job, is just being creative. So it's wonderful. I always say it's wonderful to do what you love, because then your days go by so quickly, you know?
That is so true. And it's so right that you say that there are so many people that I know too, especially from the mixed media world, that have done something else. But I think it's good. It's good that you have some experience in, you know, some kind of business related
Yeah.
field, and that helps you really to keep up with that. I don't know if I hadn't had that experience, if I would be really good. I mean, not saying that I'm very good. I'm just saying I feel like I'm a little bit more organized if I would be if I hadn't been working in a law office.
Yeah, get that experience first, right? To well, and that's the thing, you learn from every step of your journey, so to speak, of your life is a learning process to the next part, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know you do online classes, and you're kind of like way ahead of the grid, because people are just doing it now because of COVID, but you've been doing it for like 8 years.
Longer, actually. I
Long.
think I do Creative Jumpstart, which is a collaborative workshop every January with usually we're 31 artists, and I organize that on my website as an online workshop. We're coming up with the 10th anniversary of it.
Wow.
So I've been doing Creative Jumpstart as an online workshop for 10 years. And I've done other online where I wouldn't watch them again, to be honest. Probably 12 years ago, if you watch some of those videos, you're like, wow, we've come a long way.
Well, and technology's come a long way.
Right. Yeah. They're like tiny movies on the screen. You're like, wow, the resolution was really not that great.
So how did you do it back then, 10 years ago? Like, how did you start that process? Because it wasn't something that was known, right, within the creative circle.
Yeah, I think it was kind of, I was back then still in Germany, and now I live in New Jersey in the States. And I think it was because, especially in Germany, you know, at the time, there weren't that many, at least we didn't have so many contact with people that were doing the same thing that we did. And a lot of views and eyes were on Canada and America, USA. I mean, you're America, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
North America, you know, in terms of like, what are they doing and how do they do that? And if you wanted to teach yourself, you watched a lot of, you read a lot of blogs, but you also started watching some of the few videos there. And so naturally, because most of us in Europe were self-taught, it became also a thing like, okay, how do I teach other people? So we did workshops, and that's how I started teaching in 2006 probably. But it was also a matter of how can we do that as a little video. So it was kind of like a necessary thing from having the necessity to learn online first as well.
Ah, very good. And now how many normally sign up for these, for the Creative Jumpstart? You said you have 31 artists that teach for you, so that's incredible.
Yeah, we have about 1,200 students from all over the world.
Wow.
Every year in January, we post a new artist and their 10-minute video. It's usually a project, although our classes are not project-based. It's also about, you know, learning something new and getting new techniques and ideas. I give the artist a theme every year, and they get to do then, you know, their take on the theme. And yeah, we have a nice community. Every day a new video goes up, and some people do that in real life. So live kind of, you know, you watch your video in the morning, and then they try to replicate the things if they have all the supplies. That's not always a given, or they take tiny bits out of it. And some people just do the videos that really interest them. And Joe Rotella, you just mentioned him earlier. He's a longtime friend of mine. He has been with Creative Jumpstart. Actually, I shouldn't say that he's part of it, but of course he is. He will be 2021 again there, and it's going to be his 9th time. He's one of the teachers, and I just saw his video, as you know, for 2021. It's amazing.
Oh, wonderful. So how can people sign up for that or get more information?
Yeah, we are launching it every year on Cyber Monday. So all the artists are throwing it out there, or if you follow me as Nathalie Studio on Facebook, then you will hear about it, and it usually goes on sale as a super sale on Cyber Monday. Then we have like staggered sales until it gets to its regular price in January. And this year's, oh, it's not this year, 2021, it starts on January 1st. It will be super special because it's the 10th anniversary. So it's going to be big.
Now, just because I'm not part of the cyber thing, when is Cyber Monday? What is that date?
Good question, right? And you
I'm
asked
online all the time, but I'm thinking, I don't know, when is Cyber Monday?
You asked me that 2 days ago when we did the run through, and you know what? I'm not that organized. I didn't know it then. I had to look it up, and now I'm so nervous. I forgot again. I think it's November 28th or November 29th is the last Monday in this
November?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I apologize.
No problem. No website, and they'll find you. Another really neat thing that I saw you're working on, or you already have done, I think, it's called the Stroll Through the Hood. Can you tell everybody what that is all about?
Yeah, I've been doing, it started with a blog post many, many years ago when I was still back in Germany, because my inspiration for my artwork and also for my product designs come mostly from traveling, but also from my environments when I walk through, you know, my own city. I'm a city girl. I lived in a city in Germany, in Hamburg, and now I'm living in Jersey City, which is like right across the Hudson River from New York. I take like 10 minutes with the path. Haven't been there forever in New York City. But anyway, so I take people on the stroll through the hood and I do this video series. And from there, you know, because I always moved so much, I kind of like get better with like getting to know my turf by walking around and trying to see the beautiful things that are around there. You know, like I'm very interested in architecture, but I'm also interested in how a lot of historical buildings or just buildings change in their usage over the years, or how very affluent areas might become a little bit more, you know, dilapidated or vacant buildings, and then how that circle of revival. And so I paint a lot of urban themes that have that in mind. And for this art show, we have an annual Jersey City Art and Studio Tour, where we usually open our studio, and we just moved into our house last year around this time. And this is my studio. I'm on the ground floor, and my big goal so far, the 7 years I've lived here in Jersey City, I was in like, you know, with other people in group shows and like the city hall or whatever. And I wanted to one time really open up my studio and have people for the studio tour, but no, well, COVID, right? So you're not opening your studio. And they decided to do a virtual studio tour this year. So they had hundreds of artists, and they all had like 8 minutes to show their artwork or their studio or talk about it. And I did a stroll through the hood with them in 8 minutes, where I showed paintings on certain maps on their on the map in Jersey City, on the location basically.
Oh, very neat, very neat. Now, it's a very unique piece that you painted all these buildings on. Can you show, we're going to show us a little clip of your video of the stroll through the hood, but do you have the book there, the journal by any chance?
I do. Do you want me to get it?
But just so they can see the size. Well, I think it's in the video, is it not?
It's in the beginning of the video.
Let me just see. I know I brought the video up here. Let's see if I can find it. I know I can find it. It's just, it gets kind of hidden. So let me just get back here. Oh, where am I? There we go. Okay, now I'll see if it's there. There it is. All right, let's just share this and enjoy, everybody, and we'll be right back.
To paint them on canvas. But recently I've started, especially it's during the pandemic, to paint them in this big ledger, which is from 1840. And I think it used to be a word text collection record. Since it's a little bit hard to show you the paintings in the ledger, I thought it would be fun to take you on a little stroll through the neighborhood. And I'm gonna share my screen with you for that. Give me 1 second. I hope you see this. Give me a hint.
Yes,
Yeah, it looks great.
Cool. So as you can see, this is part of Jersey City. We have the New Jersey Turnpike right here with downtown, the McKinley Square areas here, Lincoln Park, and then Bergen Lafayette. And the paintings that I did this year in the Ledger as a project are distributed on the map at their location. So first I would love to go to Summit Avenue right here, to these buildings. Let me zoom out a little bit. These are some beautiful Queen Anne style, Dutch Queen Anne style houses that are very reminiscent of Amsterdam. And as a European, of course, I like them a lot. And as you can see, I paint directly on the ledger paper with acrylic paint, spray paints, and markers. And I convey my emotions and the stories that I see in the buildings through color and movement. And usually my paintings are from the viewpoint of a photographer, because that's the moment when it clicked between me and the buildings. Let's head on over to Bergen Avenue, just over here, to one of those mansions. There are a lot of Victorian mansions throughout this neighborhood, as a lot of you probably know. They are beautiful and definitely a sign of a better and more affluent time of this area, especially towards Lincoln Park. But I think there's way more than just these Victorian mansions to see in this neighborhood. So for example, when you go down here on Bergen Avenue, you might see this building that has an amazing, powerful mural on the side, which is called "We Shall Overcome" by Case McClain. And this made me in April really dig deeper into the history of Jersey City, especially the urban uprise from 1963. And I also discovered that Martin Luther King gave a speech just 8 days before his assassination at the Metropolitan Zion Church here on Bergen. Let's go back to Summit Avenue. There's a lot on Summit Avenue, but there's one of my favorite buildings is actually St. John's Church, which used to be called the Millionaires Church. It was closed in 1990 and fell into disrepair and ruin. Its Tiffany glass windows vanished all of a sudden at some point, and they're now in some museum in Chicago. But what I find actually way more interesting about the church is that it played a very pivotal role in the civil rights movement of the 60s under Reverend Castle. And it was a very important community space for our Black community in this city. Reverend Castle, I found a book from him, which is called Prayers from a Burned Out City. And the prayers are dealing with police brutality, rent, and problems with City Hall. And I find this very, very timely, especially right now. And I cannot help but think about Robert Castle doing his stroll through the hoods, just like I do, while he's thinking about his congregation.
I just think it's so amazing. I just love the artwork. But on the journal with that, like you said, with the journal, the original writings in the background, it's just, it just brings emotion to you as well, I think.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's just beautiful, just beautiful. I know I watched the whole video, and please everybody go and take a look. We'll put the link on there as well to go watch the entire video. But yeah, just amazing. You did an amazing job. Congratulations.
It was funny to watch me being nervous in the live thing while being nervous in your live thing.
I know it's all that about going back to watch yourself, which I typically don't do either. You know, it's like, it's done, move on.
Exactly. Yeah, it combines a lot of loves for me, the painting, but also I love, as you said, old books and history and research. So for me, that ledger project is like a real work of love, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Anyway, today you are going to demonstrate for us something called wild card.
Yes.
I just think
Yeah.
that's very neat. Everybody's like, oh, I'm intrigued what that's going to be.
It's not going to be that wild,
Yeah.
but it's going to be with some of my rubber stems, and for some diehard rubber stemmers, I might do some things that, I mean, I'm not going to be really crazy with paint, although I used rubber stems with paint. I'm going to be a good girl today. But I'm probably using my ink pads in a way that some people will be like, why is she doing that?
All right, well, let's flip the screen and get you started.
Okay, I'm gonna change my camera and see if you can see this. Okay, so as I told you, or as we talked about, I love to create rubber stamps that are inspired by my strolls through the hood. So I work with a company here in the US. It's a small family-owned company. They're wonderful, and they make my design. So this is one of the fan stamps. They are coming in big and small. Here are some designs that are actually inspired by our fireplace and places in our little townhouse from 1886, which weirdly enough, we have like 3 fireplaces. Now we have 4 fireplaces. It's crazy because it's a real small house. Here's the bigger one of those set of the foam stands. And I love like geometric forms, but then with some pattern in it. And I do use them, you know, for art journaling. I will show you a couple samples of how I use it in my art journaling later. But I also love to create pattern with those. And then I love to do cards. And when I stamp cards, the reason why I love to do that, and especially with the patterns, it makes me really relax. This is like my Zen thing to do. I take these like stamps and I look at them. Sometimes I make like little samples. And then I think of the ways how I can make patterns. So I want to show you how I made this easy card here with the fans. So that has like different colors in here. And these are cling stamps. Actually, when they come, the design is not printed. Oops, sorry, wrong direction with the showing. When they come, they are mounted on these plastic sheets. So the pattern is not really engraved on the gray here. That is something that's really hard to do cost effectively with a small company that does everything. Every one of these stems is hand cut, you know, here by a person. So a real person had it in their hand and cut everything with a little sewing machine out. So what I do, I use the little plastic sheet that comes in the design and cut it out and then mount it on the cling. But then the problem is, how do you put that on your acrylic block? Because, you know, not working anymore. So what I do is I use like a little adhesive, like one of those easy dots repositionable, because I can take those off. And then I put my design and just, whoops, no, I just took this off and now it doesn't want to stick where it should be. So I just align them on my block, you know, the way I want to. And in this one, I want to take several of those and just put them next to each other, because I'm a lazy person and it makes it easier for me. I love those acrylic blocks that have the lines in there, because then you can really align them and make sure that they're kind of straight. But since I'm a mixed media artist, I'm not really good in making straight things anyway, so. And then here I have some blank cards. I buy those in bulk and just make a lot of cards. And I send a lot of cards too. I love sending cards out. And what I like to use are these ink pads. They're also done by Rubber Moon, and they're one of my favorite ink pads ever. These have 2 pads inside. One is the actual color. So in this case, you can see these are very, very loved and used. So it's this purple color, but then they come also with a white ink pad. And the white ink pad was white when I got it, but I'm using it. So what you can do is you can make some variations of your color. So if I would take one of the other stems right here just to show it to you, let's do it on the back of this card or on the card. So if I just stamp the color as is, right, I can go in and make it a little bit lighter by going into the white. And I love that because I can make these graduations of my colors. This looks a little bit like a ghost print right now, but it's actually really that I made the purple lighter. So I really love using those ink pads. And then usually you can go in with a baby wipe afterwards or a very soft, wet, lightly wet rag and just take off the excess paint. But me as a mixed media person, I'm a little bit messy, so I just leave it like this. I don't use that as the white ink pad anymore. For me, that's just a way to play with the purple. And so for each of those ink pads, that's what you have. You have the white ink pad in there. If you leave it pristine, you can actually use it on black and use it as a ink pad that prints nicely in black, and that dries permanent, stays a little bit longer wet, but the ink dries permanent, so you can paint over it later and use wet medium, which is for me as a mixed media artist very important. So what I love to do with those ink pads then is just ink them up. And I just use different colors on top of each other. And I don't care that I might contaminate my ink pads right here. That's where I say some people might be like, what's she doing there? But I can go back in, and I did that actually before the demo and clean this up a little bit with a baby wipe. And then I get these little graduations. See if that comes out on the camera, maybe with some other colors a little bit better. That's always the problem. And then I can move this, one down here. So typically I would stand while I'm stamping. So this is a little bit challenging for me because I'm sitting on the side of this. So I'm not really seeing how I line that. This is how people make excuses, right?
But it's creative and it looks wonderful. We have Brenda was asking, she said they're very cool stamps and the stamp pad. Where can she find those stamps and the stamp pad? Where can you purchase them?
Yeah, you can purchase those on rubbermoon.com. It's in the States, and they have all my rubber stamps, but also the ink pads. I usually also carry some of my designs in my store and some of the ink pads. I just don't have the full range right now. But if you go to my website on nataliestudio.com, you will find a lot of the stamp designs there as well. Yeah, I'm stocking up all the time too. So, and if you sign up for my newsletter, you will also know when there are sales or, get your holiday shopping on. So what I do is then I just continue with the different colors over and over here till I fill in the whole card. You could, of course, also put a sentiment in there. I oftentimes use these as thank you cards to and then put the thank you inside. But what I love to do is just play around with those different stamps. So I have these like triangle stamps here, and then I'm like, how can I make a fun pattern? Sometimes I just cut, when I get a new stamp set that I created, I cut all the new stamped images out, and I have like a big pile of these hexagons and those triangles and the fans. And then I just try to create like patterns on a blank piece of paper. And then I know, oh yeah, this is how I would love to do a new design. This is like a modern looking design, but I really love it. And it's like one of the floral stamps, and this is from one of our fireplaces in a set. So it's 1, 2, and then this is in the hexagon set as well. So free stamps and the circle stamp. Some of those designs are also, you can stamp them on top of each other. And I should have actually put this here. Here's the hexagon set. So some of those designs are actually meant to go on top of each other in different colors. So you could do, let me see. And again, I want because I did them so that you can put them on top of each other, and it's important to see where that is. I have the plastic with the design printed on the back of those stamps, and then I need something so that it can hold on to my acrylic block, and that is why I have the repositional tape. And every time I take the stamp off, I can rub off those easy dots and clean my acrylic plate again. This is what you should do. If I do that, that's a different question. Actually, I don't. So let me try another nice popping color here. So if I go and I stamp this design, right? This is what happens when you don't clean the glue dots off nicely. Then you get a little smudge here. You're getting the real picture here. And then I'm taking the stamp that goes on top of it. Just have to make sure that I, align it the right way. So I have the 2 grooves in here and one on the top. So these are spread out. And then I can let's take a lighter color again. I can take this green. And then usually I would stand up and make sure that I really, really align it well and look over it, but I don't want to put my big head into the camera. So you just have to make sure that you cover the first image up, kind of like looking into the camera to see if that's the case. But bear with me because I'm not really hanging over it well enough, but you see how you can stamp the image right on top of it, right? See that here? So some of these designs that I make are meant to put on top of each other, like these ones you can use on top of each other. So you get these like gradual different variations there. So I always love to kind of envision how you can use them in a lot of different ways. And I want to show you real quick how I get to do patterns. So I make all these patterns up. I mean, some of them are like, those, like how to make like a nice hexagon. This is one of the hexagon. And then I have these, this little triangle stamp here, right? And you just line it up. And I love this. It takes forever in a way, but it really calms me down. And I needed a lot of calming down this year. So, and then I keep those pieces of paper as an inspiration for my cards, but also sometimes I make like a pattern book. I love to make like a little pattern book. So this is one that I bound myself, and I put in all the patterns that I made. It's like a little tapestry book, if you want to say so. And it helps me just remember the little, it's a little bit big, so it's not all on the camera. I hope you can see this. But yeah, it helps me remember the patterns that I liked, and then I can reuse them at some point again. And I come back to that. Oftentimes I post little videos on how I made those. And then they sometimes find their way into an art journal as well. So this is an art journal page that I made. This one, the blue one here is actually a stencil that I created. And I stenciled throughout the pages here. And then I used, these different stamps here and filled in the gaps in those stencils. And it's just, I don't know, I just love doing that. It's not always that I do my art journal pages like that. But it's a fun way for me to work with those different things. And this is actually a study for one of the paintings that I did for the Stroll for the Hood. And what I do is I do those in my art journals to practice. But then I love to incorporate, some different backgrounds, play with my stencils, incorporate this. Here's another one. I think I marked it so I can show it to you. Oh yeah, this is, I did a little transfer here with an image that I found in a magazine, and then I painted that in with some acrylic Posca markers. And then I used my rubber stamps and also painted them in a little bit with my Posca markers. So I just love to incorporate the, kind of very orderly rubber stamps. Here's another one where I just made a simple, this for me is a simple background. For other people, it might be like, whoa, what's she talking about? This is a lot, But anyway, this is what I love to do, and then paint on top of it and do some journaling. So lots of options, I think. And yeah, I made some wallpaper at some point with us too.
I love it. Just all the colors are just amazing. Just beautiful backgrounds or beautiful pieces of art themselves.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love doing that. And I think it comes from this background. I'm going to switch the camera again. It comes from this background of being, being in the scrapbooking world as well. And I do love all these, ink pads and rubber stamps and embossing powder. And it's just so much fun to play and incorporate that in the mixed media part of it and think about it, but then also, creating new patterns with stems. So I have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Brenda was asking, what are you using for your black ink, particularly in your journal sketches?
Oh yeah, I oftentimes actually use acrylic ink. So I'm a little bit partial because I used to be ambassador and sponsored artist for Liquitex, so I have a ton of Liquitex products. That being said, I really love them as well, but gotta do the disclaimer here. So I use a lot of either that, and then I use a so-called bamboo sketching pen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, they're like made out of, I don't know if it's really bamboo or they just call it bamboo, but it's like wooden, and it has like nips that are both nip pens, kind of, you dip them into the ink. And I use those. But you can also use Zumi ink, or there's a lot of inks out there. I love the acrylic ink because it dries fairly fast, and I know it's, I can go over it with any medium.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now again, anybody can get the stamps, correct? Because I have Tanya here. She says, I wish I could get these stamps, but she can just go to your website.
Yeah. We ship everywhere. I mean, I would say the rates on my website for Canada, if you're in Canada, for example, are pretty much the rates that, are normal for USPS. If you are not from Canada or the US, I would actually recommend to go directly to Rubber Moon, because they can probably offer you a better shipping rate than, I'm just a small fish trying to do stuff.
And where is Rubber Moon from?
They're in, Rubber Moon, don't kill me. They're in Missouri.
Okay, so they're in the US.
Yeah, they are. They're wonderful. They're run by KP, who is a wonderful artist. And she does amazing artwork, and she's like the stamp guru. Like, her tutorials makes me very embarrassed. But yes, so she has a lot of artists, actually, different artists that work and license design with her. And yeah, Sandra Evertson, which might be for some people, she designed back in the days for Prima as well, Jessica Sporn. There's a lot of people. Oh, actually, Maria Engelbright, I think, is a well-known name in North America. She designs stems for Rubber Moon, and it's just a delightful, wonderful company to work with. And seriously, I mean, they make the molds, and then tiny hands in their company cut the stems out with a little saw, and
Wow.
they print the packet. Like, I saw the process, and it just blows my mind to think how much work in those and love in those little stems are. And yeah, they're taking
Mm.
pride in their company.
Wow. Well, I have a few more questions. Alexander says, what is the liquid you put on the stamping pad before putting the stamps on?
Oh, that was you mean probably this is a scrapbook adhesive. It's called Easy Dot Repositionable. And the reason why I have to do that is because unlike many of the stamps that can be produced in China, so they are, I'm not making this as a bad thing. I'm saying, you know, then you can produce cheaper, and they can sometimes print the design right onto the cling, and then it will be still clingy, right? But as a small company like that, that's like cost prohibitive. So what they do when you buy them, they come with a little sheet of acrylic that has printed on the designs, and it's just like, so you know how the designs look like. But if you would look at the stems without it, you know, you had just like a gray nothing, right? So what I do is I cut out the design from the you know, sheet, the packaging sheet,
Yeah.
and I mount that onto the
Ah,
cling, but then it doesn't cling to your acrylic block anymore, right? So that's
yes.
the
Yeah.
problem, because you have plastic on the back. So in order to be able to do that and also see the design, especially when I want to see where to stamp, because with those stems, when I make pattern, it becomes a little bit more important to really see where things are. I put
Yeah.
those repositionable dots on top of my little blocks, and then I
Okay.
mount it. And then when I'm done, what I should do, you know, there's like some residue, as you can see. I should just like rub those off, and then everything is clean again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my little trick of, you know, getting both of the worlds.
Good, good, very good. It's good to learn all these new tricks. Scott, Jim Scatina is watching. He says he used to work for Liquitex when it was part of Binney and Smith, which was Crayola. He said that's interesting. A little
Oh
bit
yeah,
of
they did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. Yes.
a little bit of FYI background there. So
Yes.
perfect. Well, thank you, Natalie. It's been so great to have you on the show, and so inspirational. And I'll make sure that we post that link for everybody to see that video. I know I watched it, and I was just yeah, it was emotional to watch those buildings, and actually what it did, it made me more aware of when I'm out traveling to look at buildings. You know, because there's just, you go through all, I just was up at my daughter's up in Owen Sound, which is about 3 hours north of here. And we drove through a lot of small towns on the way. And you know, you're driving along and I'm like, oh, that's a really neat building, you know, and you just want to stop and take pictures of it. But just the history of some of the towns and of your area to be more aware of it as well. So I love that you incorporated the history with the buildings and the art. So,
Thank
and
you
of course
so much.
you had to go out for a walk while you did it, right?
Well, that's a good thing right now. Thank you so much, Audrey, for having me. That was a blast.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for being with us, and thank you for sharing. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was awesome. And I really, strongly suggest you to watch that video. It is just an incredible video. And just would love to see more of that for people taking advantage of their communities or the community they go to, and take pictures of unique buildings, or, you know, something that's creative on a building, something that inspires you. Yeah, it just would be a great opportunity. So wanted to share with you today. I think we have time. I was going to have Linda on last week, or a video from Linda, I should say. Linda Smith. Many of you remember she has been part of our actual in-person shows, as you would say, for many years, probably 22 years, that sort of thing. And She said she started painting when she was pregnant with her son, Brock, who was 45 in February 2021. So she's been painting for many, many years. She is a stroke painter, and her style and roots follow that of Josanya Jansen, whose talent cannot be questioned or improved on. Her heart is with flower gardens, and she primarily paints flowers and on shape of things you might find in the garden. She had a retail shop and wholesaled painting supplies from a store in Port Perry, Ontario. Also, during those years, she traveled, taught in Canada and the United States. And like I said, many of you recall Linda. She had beautiful hand-painted watches, bags, jewelry, pendants, just all those small little things. And now she is living out in East Coast Canada. So we just wanted to share a little bit about what she's been up to. Enjoy.
Hi guys, my name is Linda Smith, and I approached Audrey about doing a little demo on this coin purse, which I am painting to sell, and I sell a lot of them, and I thought you folks might be interested in seeing it. I'm going to demo the little ladybug, but you can also do the droopy daisy and the purple hydrangea with the same brush, or a round brush. These can all be done with one brush. This one, a 3 round, I think you'd be better with. These two can be done with a 5 round. Okay, you can do, as you can see, you can do this ladybug pattern on all 4 colors of the coin purse. And what's neat about this coin purse is the pocket on the bottom that holds all your credit cards, the pocket on the back which will hold pills, lipstick, Lipsol, that kind of thing, and then your 2 top pockets, one holds coin and one holds bills. This works, the acrylic paint works good on this particular coin purse because it's leather. Generally speaking, acrylic doesn't get a good bite on anything but a natural surface, and so the leather takes the paint really well. I sell these. I sell a lot of these painted, but I also sell them unpainted to other painters. So if you like to try any of these colors or patterns, be in touch. And before I start to paint, I always clean the coin purse off with rubbing alcohol to get anything on it that that might repel the paint at all. And another thing, if you're going to paint these to sell, or if you're going to paint them as a gift, make sure you've painted it a good week or 10 days before you use it or give it away, so that the paint has time to cure and age. So I'm going to demo, and when I'm painting these, I paint them in a row of about 7 or 8, because by the time I finish step number 1, I can start step number 2, because as I said, I paint them to sell, and so I don't have any downtime with drying, waiting for them to dry. So step 1, a C stroke, and then an S stroke, 1 leaf. And just wipe your brush through the paint. C stroke, S stroke. C stroke, S stroke. I'd like a little bit more green on this. So I'm going to go back with my S stroke and get a bit more of that green. I like 3 leaves. You can put 4. I like the 3 because I can leave a bit of space in the middle on which to put the red paint. Okay, I'm painting 4 different colors here to get the steps dry as we go forward. So on this one, I've done the leaves, and I'm going to put the red on for the ladybug. So it's just 2 sort of round C strokes right on top of the green. If you are painting a ladybug on a black one, make sure that you get the head positioned on the green so that when you put the black head, the black body line, and the black dots on, that the black shows on the green. Okay, the next step is load your brush in purple, slide it through the white, and just put some little strokes on the corners. Just adds kind of some interest to the design. And I just wipe my paint through the brush, or rather wipe the brush through the paint. I'm not being real careful about the load there. So that's step number 3. Okay guys, the last step is the wing line on the little ladybug. So it's slightly curved. Then I put the head on. Then I use the back end of the brush to put the little dots on her back. I like only 2 dots because I think more than that, I don't like the look of it. So let me demonstrate for you on a black one so I can show you where I'm putting the head so the head shows. So there's the wing line. There's her head on the green. Then dot, 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 dot. So here are all 4 colors painted with the ladybug. The ladybug looks good on all the colors. Some of the other patterns look as good as well. So let me know if you want to paint a few of these. They make great gifts, and they're fun.
That was wonderful. And yes, I just love the dog. I think a lot of you remember she always had her little dog with her at the shows as well. So, and it just goes to show you, Linda found something that worked for her. She loves painting the little miniatures. She always did, like I said, she always had a booth just full of watches and pendants and bags, and just always did extremely well. And everybody loved taking classes with her. And here she is, 45 years later, still painting, still doing what she enjoys. So keep that in mind, that it's, when you're doing something you love, you certainly can continue doing it for years and years and years. So thank you, Linda, for that video, and hopefully everybody enjoyed those bags that she was painting. And if you're interested in purchasing any finished pieces, she also sells the bags unfinished. We did put her email address in there, flowerpainter10@gmail.com. You can just send her an email to order some or for more information. So thank you again, Linda. Next week on our show, we have a great show. Every week's a great show. We just love this. We're thoroughly enjoying having met so many new people and sharing creativity with you. We have Lana Lamb with us next week, and she will be demonstrating her Noel Christmas ornament. I'm just going to show you a quick picture of it here. This is the ornament right there that she will be demoing for us. And if you are interested, she does have the ornament and the packet, which is, the entire kit that you can purchase from her at her website, which is lanalamb.com. So check us out next week. Again, she will be showing you, demonstrating that ornament. So that would be great for you to maybe paint along with her. So take a look at her website, lanalamb.com. We also will have Jose Cluche from Pinso. She'll be doing a demonstration for us as well. So lots of things on next week's show. So make sure you put us on your calendar I'm Audrey. It's Audrey Live Thursday at 1 p.m. Make sure you don't miss us. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and thank you again for watching. Have a great week.